Chodesh Tov. Welcome to Bevis Synagogue, the Spanish and Portuguese Synagogue here in the city of London. As we begin the month of Elul and the penitential period, the time leading up to Rosh Hashanah, the Jewish New Year, and Yom HaKippurim, the Day of Atonement, it's the perfect time for us to resume our series of In the Life of Bevis Synagogue. This is a time of year full of rich tradition, rich custom, rich resonance for those who worship in this historic and storied synagogue. This is a series that we began last year, but today I'm going to be addressing a topic that, for all intents and purposes, really should have been the very first in this entire series, because I'm going to be speaking about a term that for those who worship here, they will know well, and that is minhag, loosely translated as custom. But here at the Spanish and Portuguese, when we say minhag, we say the minhag, the custom, in the totality of the term, reflecting the breadth of what the customs, the rituals are of a Spanish and Portuguese synagogue. And so when we say minhag here at Bevis Marks, we actually mean three different things. We refer to minhag in a loose type of way, a way that refers to aesthetic sensibilities. It's our minhag to wear top hats. It's our minhag to bow to one another instead of shaking hands. This is simply a quality, a style in which the services are conducted, and it's part of our minhag. It's part of our tradition. When we refer to minhag, we also refer to those things that we do that are halachically required, those things that we are obligated to do. But perhaps there are different views in the halachic tradition about how something is meant to be done. And so when we do it a particular way here at Bevis Synagogue, we say it is our minhag, it is our custom to do it this way. Perhaps most notable among these things is the fact that we don't have a repetition for the Musaf Amidah, as is common in most other congregations. And this is according to the position of Rambam Maimonides nearly 8 centuries ago. And so in that way, we refer to minhag in a halachic or in a legal way. But we also have the kind of minhag which is not halachic, it is not legally obligatory in that way, and yet it has a deep religious resonance to those customs, because those customs try to connect to particular religious ideals or values. And so, for example, when we take the Sefer out of the Heichal, we walk very quickly to the Teba, showing how passionate we are to read from the Sefer, but when we return it, we walk particularly slowly, showing that we are reluctant to have to put the Torah away. Or on Tisha B'Av, hanging black curtains over to the Heichal, reflecting the mourning that we feel on these occasions. These are religious customs, not required, not simply aesthetic, but go to the very heart of one's spiritual life here at Bevis Marks, and that we also refer to as minhag. And so in these three different ways, whether legal, religious, or aesthetic, those together encapsulate what we mean when we refer to the minhag of Bevis Synagogue. And it is a minhag that those who worship here are deeply devoted to and love to such a great extent. And we try to the best of our abilities to preserve the minhag in its totality here at Bevis Marks. We'd like to think that if one of our members from the 18th century walked into the synagogue today, they would feel quite at home, perhaps not even skipping a beat, not noticing the fact that they were in a different century, perhaps except for the fact that today we wear top hats instead of tricorners. Perhaps we'll talk about that on another one of these videos. But in that way, when one worships at Bevis Synagogue, one really is able to step into the lives, into the spiritual, aesthetic, and halachic lives of the Jews who founded this congregation so many centuries ago. And that is the purpose of this video series, is for us to understand, to explore the meaning, the resonance, the ideas, the origins of the minhagim, of the customs, of the rituals of this storied and historic congregation. And so I look forward in the month ahead as we lead up to Jewish New Year, but really in the year ahead, to dive deeply into our beloved Minhag, helping to enrich our understanding of it and our respect and commitment to our wonderful and beautiful traditions. And so with that, I wish everybody once again a good Elul, a Chodesh Tov, and it's not too early to say Tizku L'Shnim Rabot, wishing you many years. Thank you so much.